Sure. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think is holding it back then? Is it just a historical societal appreciation that if I have a problem, I'm to go see my doctor? Are we just working against decades and decades of predisposed ideas as to where a person should go? Or is it a lobbying issue where we need to have those in Washington, D.C. for those of us in the U.S. or in our governments to lobby for that?
Yeah, well, that's a can of worms right there, I think. But I will give you my opinion based off of the information that I've been able to gather, and this will be actually very direct. But I actually think it's the AMA actually controls healthcare in the United States, which I think is actually good and bad. I think it's actually bad because oftentimes they limit providers that could be very beneficial in providing care to the public that would allow actually quicker recovery, faster return to work, all the things that we like to see, decrease cost. But just like with actually nurse practitioners, the AMA is still not happy with their ability to work in the way that they do now. So that's actually kind of controversial. They have a ton of money. They have a ton of lobbyists. That's the way the system that we live in works. And that's the system that we have right now. We can see the military is a great example of, you can look at outcomes, you can look at all the safety issues and so forth from using PTs in direct access and the benefits. It just doesn't add up to limit PT's abilities to work in that fashion in the private sector. So I would have to say it's actually it's political, obviously. And if you follow the money, just like everything, I think that they want that control. And so, and two, I think you've got to look at the way that PAs have actually progressed, through the system. I have a lot of respect for PAs. They do an absolutely wonderful job. But one of the reasons they're able to do, one of the reasons they've been able to move as fast actually through the system is because they have the AMA support, because the physicians, they still have that control over the PAs, which is good and bad. There's pros and cons. But I think in the end, I think if the patient pays the price, which they always do, it's actually something that needs to be looked at, and with a little broader lens. They need to look at other examples of military. They need to look at the UK. They need to look at some other healthcare systems that are actually using other providers besides just MDs to act as that frontline person.
Mm-hmm. Hear the entire episode for free on iTunes, Spotify, other favorite podcast players, or go to mechanicalcareforum.com.